Hi, my name is Diana, the Dummy Cook, and today I'm going to talk to you about my favorite manual modes in the Thermomix. Let's watch it! Okay, so you know that in the Thermomix you can cook manually using these three circles: time, temperature, and speed. You can also do guided recipes, and you also have a lot of manual modes that you can use during a recipe or just using the Thermomix as a tool, and they're all here. Now, I have organized the modes in the order I like them. I have this button up here where I can edit the view and I can move them around. So the ones that I use manually the most are here. The scales, the chopping, kettle, egg boiler, the pre-clean, and the warm-up. Why? Because they're very convenient. When I'm using the scales mode, I can see if I have enough potatoes, enough bell peppers, enough anything to start a recipe using a scale, like you would in your kitchen, right? The chopping mode is super useful even if I'm not cooking with Thermomix. I might have a cake and I might want to have walnuts all spread over. So I come to my Thermomix and I chop my walnuts. If I want to crush ice, if I want to grind coffee, if I have sugar and I need powdered sugar, all of that I can do with the chopping mode. Like I said, using it as a tool. Now, the kettle mode, what is it doing? Kettle. Every time we want a tea in my house, which is very often, we turn it on, it heats up the water, and it calls us when it's ready. Ta-da! The egg boiler, I love it. I just put some eggs there, I choose how I want them finished, and ta-da! Medium soft, hard boiled, whatever I wanted, without having to look at a watch or manning the stove. The mode I must be using the most has to be the pre-clean mode right here. Every single time I finish a recipe, I run this self-cleaning mode. Sometimes it leaves the bowl as new, and I just need to rinse it, and sometimes I need to finish the wash a little, but it's still giving me a great head start, and if there was any grease, that is gone. And another easy function that I use is the warm-up mode. You have a cold soup, put it here and heat it up, choosing the exact temperature that you want, and it's going to be heated up evenly. It does a better job than the microwave. Now you're going to ask me, why don't you use the other modes? Well, I use them, but I use them in a guided recipe. I am not a chef, I am not good at cooking myself. I never have a creamy soup and I have the urge to blend it more. If I did, I could use the blending mode, but that already happened in the guided recipe. That's why I barely use it. I have used it to turn a lentil soup into a puree, that's true. So I guess I do use it sometimes, and that's why I put it right there. Same thing happens to me with the turbo mode. I don't need it because it's in the guided recipes. You can use it to chop hard ingredients like Parmesan or chocolate into small pieces. For example, I use it in the lemonade guided recipe. It goes into short bursts that chop the whole lemon in a way that extracts the juice without getting the bitter flavor from the white pith or the skin. So it's very useful. Again, I use it in the recipe. Same thing, I could use the dough mode to knead, but I'd rather use a guided recipe that says how much water, how much yeast, how much salt. I don't want to mess that up, and that guided recipe will have the kneading mode in it. Even the rice cooker. I don't use it because I'd rather choose a recipe that already says use long grain rice, use round rice, everything. I'd rather have all those steps in the recipe and just follow them. But if you want to use the Thermomix as a rice cooker, the mode is right here. And there are more. Look over here. So here we have the thicken mode. Again, I'm never gonna have a Hollandaise sauce and I'm going to think, I really need to thicken this more. If you're making Hollandaise sauce and you need that step, you can use the thicken mode just for the thickening step. But I'm going to go to the guided recipe and I'm going to follow every step with every ingredient, following the quantities, and I'm going to get my Hollandaise sauce with this mode implemented in the guided recipe. I keep saying the same thing over and over, right? And the last one of these ones is the fermentation mode. Yes, you can make yogurt with your Thermomix. I need the guided recipe with all the instructions. If you know how to do it, here is the fermentation mode just for you. And now we need to the modes that need an accessory. Here we have the slow cooking mode or the sous vide mode. For those, usually you need a blade cover. So if you want to buy the blade cover and peeler, there you are. That accessory will help you use these two modes. In my case, I also use the guided recipes to use those modes. And then the next 5 really depend on an extra accessory. They're just functions to be used here, not even in a guided recipe. So when you come to the peeler mode and you have the blade cover and peeler, you can peel potatoes, you can peel garlic, you can peel ginger, any root vegetables, and you can even peel boiled eggs. I promise I have a video about it. Now for the grating and slicing, you need the cutter. It's right here. And as the name says, it's going to help you slice veggies or fruit, or it's going to help you grate it in thin lines. If you add the spiralizer to the cutter, then you can get it, instead of in slices, you can get it in spirals. And last but not least, if you have the sensor right here, you can use it as a thermometer. It goes inside the chicken or inside a cake, inside your bread, while it is in the oven, in the air fryer, or in the grill. The sensor connects to the Thermomix and the recipe tells you when it's ready, or it connects to your phone and you can just check on your barbecue items even when you're not following a Thermomix recipe. So these are the manual functions. There are more functions in Thermomix, but some of them are not manual, like the high heat or the sugar stages. Those have to be used through a guided recipe for your own protection. The temperature is really hot, and Thermomix wants to make sure that you're using the correct quantities and the correct accessories. Anyway, what a long list, right? Let's write them down. The ones that I use the most: scale, chop, kettle, egg boiler, pre-clean, and warm up. Modes that I like to use inside a guided recipe: blend, turbo, dough, rice cooker, thicken, and fermentation. Modes where sometimes I need an extra accessory: the slow cooking and the sous vide. Modes where I definitely need an extra accessory: the peeler, grating, slicing, spiralizing, and the sensor. And modes that you can only use in guided recipes: the high heat and the sugar stages. Are there more modes? Of course, but those you can use just by changing the time, temperature, and the speed, and using the accessories that come with the Thermomix. You will use the whip and whisk modes when you're using the butterfly. You will be using the steaming mode when you are boiling water, a soup, or a sauce, and you're using the simmering basket or the baroma. When you use the blades, you won't be just chopping. Depending on the speed, you will be grating, milling, crushing, or even emulsifying. Or if they move slowly, you will be stirring or mixing. And if you add heat, you will be cooking, sauteing. But anyway, that's a long list for you already, right? So I hope that you learned something with this video. Thank you so much. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and if you need a Thermomix in your life, you know what to do. Please email me right here or use my purchase link. It's in the comments and it includes free shipping. Thank you.